What are the saddest events to happen to humans throughout history? We all have our ideas of what these are, but one that is massively overlooked is the fall of the West. The reason why this is so overlooked is because it's happening right now in front of us. You and I, we are currently living through and watching one of the most tragic events to ever happen in humanity. The Western world was once very great, very holy. It was a Christian based area. We had good traditional values. The family unit was strong. The economy was boosting up. We were leagues ahead of the rest of the world. And yet we've fallen so hard. But why? What caused this? Now, it's been commonly debated between conservatives over the last 40 years what has caused this great downfall. It's only gotten worse recently. I mean, we've seen it. It's like exponential decay is what we are really witnessing. It started off pretty smooth, and over the last 10 years, we have seen a massive drop off. And the West, it's completely broken. And why? 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 We are all asking ourselves this question. Now, most people are too afraid to actually tell you what happened because it'll get you canceled, it'll get you taken down. People will hate you if you share what really happened to the West. We have to go back to the beginning of this story, about 120 years ago. You could argue, give a little more, take a little more, but we're somewhere in the 100 to 140 year range is when we really start to see the decline happen strongly. It all starts with feminism, to be completely honest with you. The Rothschilds funded feminism. They started this by creating the public education system so that they could start pushing this feminist propaganda from the earliest possible age and up. They convinced women that they weren't content working for their husband, that the only way they could possibly be happy is if they went and worked for another man in some kind of office or in a warehouse. This was evil. They destroyed the dichotomy between man and woman. And why did they do this? Why would someone want to destroy this beautiful connection? It's really not that complicated. If you can make women want to be independent and try to get out of the house, you've destroyed the family unit, you've made everybody weaker, you have really decreased the amount of strength, right, in the family. And that's the building block of everything. That's how you raise good quality kids. And those kids are influenced by their parents, of course. So when you start to destroy the family, these kids are raised in broken families. They don't know how to handle relationships. And that's where you really strike. You strike by going in after these kids who don't understand relationships and you just push in on them. You push until they break and start to believe for the boys that the way to get a girl is to stop being so masculine, stop being strong, and to express yourself and show your feelings. That's how you get a woman to not respect you at all. You think a girl wants to hear you cry? No, she doesn't. I know, crazy, crazy. No, if you are weak, they a woman isn't going to be interested in you at all because you've shown that you can't be a leader. Now you're not leading the household. So she's able to go out and just be a slut. And you're going to be at home and you're going to be depressed because you know that you don't have control over your woman and you know that you're not the leader of your household. They have managed to break apart men doing this. Slow cycle. And they really made men more feminine overall. That was a real end goal of all this. Make men more feminine because a big part of feminism, what it pushed for, was to decrease the amounts of toxic masculinity. What does this mean? They wanted to make men less masculine overall. Toxic masculinity, it isn't real. It's not a thing. It's just a way for people to push getting rid of manhood without sounding like obviously evil. That's what they use. They use this new term, toxic masculinity, to make men more feminine. And guess what? When you make men more feminine, they are easier to control. This is a big part, actually, why the Rothschilds say funded feminism because they wanted women to get into politics. Because feminine people are really easy to emotionally manipulate, so you can get them to vote on whatever side you want as long as you use emotional manipulation and you understand how to wield it. So what they did, they went in and they brought women into politics. They started to control the vote and made everything more liberal. And then the men, they were convinced through the education system and mass media that was pushed out by Hollywood that to attract women, they had to become more feminine. So now you have men becoming more feminine, and now they're easier to control. And when the men are feminine, they can't guide their woman to go against this emotional propaganda, this emotional manipulation. They both start falling for it because the men they have no other way to get their girl other than just mindlessly agreeing with her. So she isn't being led, and he's just following her. And so what's going on is all day she's watching news, let's say. She hears this propaganda, this fear mongering, COVID-19, fear mongering, and it just pushes into her brain and it gets it stuck there. So then he comes home from work and she tells him, "Oh, look at all this terrible stuff that happened." And he just agrees with her mindlessly because, that's the only way he can keep this attraction, keep this base level of values together because he hasn't earned her respect. So he isn't creating the family's base values. She so like she doesn't respect what he has to say, so he has to agree with her to keep these values. So now he's agreeing with her. And now they're both afraid. And now you can get them to vote any way you want. You can tell them anything they want. You just have to do it slowly enough. You can convince them about just about anything, and you can destroy a country doing that. And that is exactly what they did. They made men more feminine through the education system in Hollywood, propaganda telling them that they needed to become more feminine to attract women. They brought women into politics to win it over even more votes, to get more emotional people into the political sphere so that they could manipulate them even more. And that's how they that is exactly how they took down the West. But nobody will say this because they know that they will get ostracized from society because they know women don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear that they are easy to manipulate. Even though it's true, people don't like hearing these harsh realities, these harsh truths, especially when they have been lied to and told the opposite and told they need to be a girl boss for the last 50 to 100 years. It's just terrible. So they destroyed the family, destroyed the building block first. That way they could raise the kids, and then when they raise the kids, they were able to make the men more feminine and make the women want to be girl bosses and stuff and try to lead. And then the women started trying to, create these political. They were introduced into politics next, and they are introduced into politics, and they feel they have this power. They feel like leaders all of a sudden, so they start voting based off of emotional manipulation. And then the husbands that have become more feminine than ever, they can't lead their wives away from this, away from these negative emotional manipulations. They can't keep their family strong, so they just follow the woman. And boom, now you've made everybody liberal, weak, emotional, and scared. And now you have complete control over everybody, and you've made a nation of sheep. I think that's a pretty good way to describe America right now, a nation of sheep, and it's not all that complicated to follow where this tracked from. It's surprisingly simple, and yet nobody sees it. Go around telling people this, they will think you are crazy. They will think that you are a crazy conspiracy theorist. But you know what? I don't frick with anybody that's not a conspiracy theorist anymore because, come on. At this point, after everything that's come out, everything that's happened over the last 3 years, how can you not even, you don't believe in one conspiracy? Come on. We all have one that we believe in. Most people, unfortunately, believe in something stupid. They believe in, I don't know, some joke theory that isn't even real. We believe, oh, there's, two stars in the galaxy instead of one or something stupid. Some propaganda that was pushed to make conspiracy theories sound stupid instead of something that was legit, like the emotional manipulation that's happened over the last 100 years from a governmental level, starting from the Rothschilds. Nobody knows about that. The inner corruption of the governmental systems. Nobody will talk about that because those are real. Those are really affecting you and me. And those are the ones that get your voice shut down. And if you don't shut up, you get taken out. And that's what happens. But, it is what it is. All we can do is spread the word, and this is what I'm trying to do here. So if you enjoyed, help me spread the word. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Join the fight. I try to make a video 2 times a day. That's my goal, of course. So you know what? Join the fight, and I'll keep fighting for you. And if you are willing to join me, and we can create a great nation again. We can save this country if we can spread this information quick enough. If we can make men masculine again, we can save this gosh dang country. That's why they shut up Andrew Tate. That's why they've tried to shut up Sneeko. Because they are making men masculine again, and they hate that. That's why even Aiden Ross is starting to get shut up. Because he is making men masculine again. And they hate that, because masculine men, guess what? They save their feminine women from being manipulated, and they don't get manipulated themselves. And that is how you destroy a power structure that has been set up to destroy your country over 120 years. You just make men masculine again. It's not all that complicated, and we've started to crack the code, and now they're scared. So, like I said before, like, subscribe, join the fight. This has been Strange Investigations. I have been Ron Swanson signing off once again. So long, peace out, and God bless y'all.